front tire, KLX front plastic, BBR sides, Tboltusa right there. She's a ripper. Check rotors, 15mm axles. My MM12P has 12mm axles. This one's also about 2.5 inches, 3 inches longer. Wheelbase too. I think the MM12P is 46.5. This one's almost 49. End to end, it's 48. But if you extend it all the way back, it's even further. But this thing rips. BBR cap, 4 liters. I'm gonna do a different oil cooler, but this one should be fine. Got the TB intake on there, Mikuni 26mm. It's a VM26 606. I got those air screws and the idle screw from Factory Mini Bikes. Got that from Tboltusa, I want to say. But yeah, nice bike now. She's doing good. Usually these bikes, when you get them, this is the SSR 150 TX, I believe the 2012 model. But when you first get these bikes, you need to do a whole bunch of stuff to them to get them so they're solid. First thing I do is go around and Loctite all the important stuff, and then I even red lock this one because this comes loose, and then your whole back end comes loose, and this stuff all gets sloppy and comes loose every time I ride it when I don't Loctite it and have a brand new lock washer on there. So that's something to keep in mind. And then also down here, make sure you Loctite these, because I've seen these come out on people, then they rip out of the engine. So that's another thing that you want to do. The exhaust isn't really the best. All of these usually come undone, but this one's been solid since I've got it. Rear shock, pretty good, as long as you keep everything tight, lubed up, and stay up with the bushings. You gotta change the bushings. The hubs are pretty good, I will say. The hubs are strong, haven't cracked any of those yet. And swing arm, I like the swing arm, it's longer and you can fit the big Midas tire in the back. Not that that's a Midas, this is obviously a Dunlop, but I'm gonna change the IRC to a Midas and the rear to a Midas too, like what the MM12P has on it. And other than that, it's still a stock 150cc. Runs really good. All I did was put the Pro Circuit cover and the TB tappet covers on there, although I do have the Pro Circuit ones, just haven't put them on yet. I was thinking about doing the updated tank shrouds like the new one, but not sure if I have enough room right here, but I still might get it just to try it out because I think it'll look good with the new one on there. The updated one anyway. So yeah, she's doing good. Got this thing all squared away for this season so I can race it at Master of Minis. A lot more people into pit bikes nowadays, so hopefully the classes are full. I'll shut this off for now. Running the Renthal R1 chain on there. Really good chain, haven't had any problems. It barely stretches too. I thought it was going to stretch more. That's why I left the axle that far forward, but I want the axle as far back as I can go essentially, so my wheelbase will be optimal wheelbase as long as I can get it. Essentially, that's what I want. It's doing good though. I can also, when I put the Midas on the rear, I'm gonna drop my fork tubes down a little bit because the back end's gonna come up some, and the bike will be sitting high and be meant for hitting bigger jumps too. I'll have more clearance underneath the tire, and in the rear too, the bike will be a little bit higher because when you move the tire back, obviously it raises it up. Yeah, it's the 150 2012 SSR 150 TX, and these are the good engines because they have, this was the only year that they did the 57mm bore and a 60mm stroke, which is the crank. So when you do the big bore kits on these, which is the 184 kit, it actually makes it a 193.5 or something, so call it a 194. But you end up with a bigger displacement, whereas the other engines are 57mm cranks, so it would only be a 184. But since this one has a 60mm crank, it ends up being from a 57mm piston to a 64mm piston. So the motor that I built, I'll do another video once I put it in the other bike, but I built a motor the same block with the 60mm crank, the TB cylinder, and the V2 race head with the 64mm piston, ceramic cylinder, aluminum cylinder, so it's lighter too than the steel sleeved one. Should rip pretty good. 194 cc's versus the 150. I mean, this 150 engine already rips, so I can't wait to try it the 194 out. And I measured the headers on these SSRs. The diameter of the header all the way through is bigger than even the FMF header for the KLX110, which was the biggest diameter I could see, even bigger than the MM12P in the BBR D2 header. So I'm thinking that's going to be the best for the big bore, but I wanted to also possibly put a Daytona 190 in one of these, because I have two of the SSR bikes. The other one's a 170, but this one is all stock right now. I have another engine that's a 194, so essentially I have 3 YX motors, and I also need to still buy the Daytona motor for my MM12P, so playing with a bunch of different engines. But I definitely love to put a Daytona in this one eventually, or to be honest, maybe buy a Daytona for this bike and then use the 194 for the MM12P. But anyway, this video is getting too long. I just wanted to make a video showing this bad boy since she's all buffed up and finished. Can't wait till the summer to rip it. Thanks for watching, guys. Give this thing a thumbs up if you're into pit bikes. Subscribe for more, because there's going to be a lot more pit bike and dirt bike action coming this summer. Thanks for watching.